Well, in continuation to what we have discussed in the indigenous knowledge system, this is a follow up and then a continuation which will be situated slightly in a different tone. Now, I am drawing primarily from the works of what I have also partly mentioned, the works of P.S. Ramakrishnan, and in his work it is very interesting to look at how the kind of ecological journey which is perhaps being seen in the context of two complementary or two worldview in a way rather, wherein one is represented by the formal knowledge and the other is by the informal knowledge or the traditional which is guided by traditional wisdom. Now, this ecological journey in a way represents this the great divide that persists between the two worlds. Now, what Ramakrishnan in a way tries to present here is in his works titled One Sun, Two Worlds, the Ecological Journey. So, even when human have experienced the same kind of time, space and environment, they do have different kind of how they make sense or interact with the environment is something which is different. Now, therefore, this great divide can be seen in the context of the rich and the poor, and the rich and the rural poor with the rich traditional wisdom on the one hand, and is the largest scientific elite endowed with formal learning on the other. So, these are the kind of the two premises which in a way share a divide. Now, this whole journey in a way begins with understanding nature and concludes by discussing an evolving eco-philosophy. So, in the pursuit to understanding nature, one tends to involve in different urge for a knowledge, that is the traditional knowledge and the formal knowledge. Traditional knowledge again is represented by a villager with a rich experiential traditional knowledge, heritage, and the formal knowledge which is represented by a scientist with his textbook based formulation in the area of natural resource management. Now, this book in a way is sort of a dialogue which is constantly engaging with, where a scientist set out of his textbook based formulations and trying to make sense of the natural resource, how it is being managed, and on the other hand the rural base who have rich traditional knowledge in a way tries to explain the stance which normally is being used in their everyday life. Now, this piece of research, that is One Sun, Two Worlds, an ecological journey, in a way argues that there exists an inseparable linkages between different ecosystems, namely land, water and air, which normally link ecology, economics and ethics, sustainable development, sustainable management of natural resources. It follows a human approach in trying to incorporate the social, cultural and ethical or spiritual dimensions into it, and also recognize at the same time the inbuilt limitations of this traditional economics and the developmental paradigm which are still being implemented. It also successfully intertwines the cognizance of these natural resources with its use by the humankind. Now, based on all these approaches, it tries to locate the kind of relationship humans share with nature. Now, the methodology which are being followed is multidisciplinary in nature, and this works in a way argues that the ecological issues are closely interlinked with the survival, especially for those who are living close to the forest or who are close relationship with nature. It demonstrates the symbiotic relationship which exists between nature and culture, making it essential for us to acknowledge the rich traditional ecological knowledge and forming an important discursive link between the complex and diverse biophysical ecosystem with an equally complex and diverse social system. Now, therefore, this biophysical ecosystem and the diverse social system is something which needs to be understood, because there is a symbiotic relationship which exists between in nature and culture, and therefore, it requires and it demands for to acknowledge the traditional ecological knowledge. Now, this traditional knowledge, which is normally possessed by the local communities, in a way should be validated and integrated as knowledge with the formal knowledge in designing adaptive management strategies with community participation. This is something which Ramakrishna et al. And would like to reveal from their extensive study, and therefore, one needs to acknowledge and then design the formal knowledge and this traditional knowledge in a way should be clubbed together, as we had talked about in the lectures on this indigenous people's life projects and development course. I mean, the theme of that, how the coexistence is necessary. Now, these traditional people in a way are in close interaction with the natural environment, which has not only saved their cultural identity, value system, and indeed the economic well-being. In this relationship, they respect nature as a sacred entity. So, in a way, they have that the spiritual and the cultural connections with nature. Now, the interconnectivity between these the ecology and social system, how are they being interconnected? These traditional societies in a way maintains a close connectivity with nature and also tend to view themselves as part of a cultural landscape. Now, for example, Jhum, which means shifting cultivation, is pretty much dominant among the indigenous people, is perhaps integral, not just an economic aspect, but is integral to part of their socio-cultural definitions of most people, especially in Northeast India. And indigenous culture is seen as sacred because they see it as having a close relationship to their spirit world. Of late, there's a realization has crept in that ecological health of the fragile mountains, because mountain is vital not only for the traditional societies living there, but also for those living in the neighboring plains. You know why the ecosystems of the hills is important in equal to people who live in the neighboring plains is because as a result of for example, deforestations, or maybe if the resources are depleted in the hills, it would have caused a lot of hamper to the neighboring plains, because you can witness landslides and flooding, and we have what we call as the cloudburst and all, which the natural surrounding is not able to retain, and you have encountered a lot of catastrophic kind of problems, and therefore if the ecological health of the mountains are equally important for those who inhabit the plains. So therefore this sort of realizations or the kind of interconnections in a way are being sort of understood in a more holistic way. Now, in the animistic belief system, these old traditional societies identify themselves with the natural settings around them, and therefore within a given cultural context, its mountain society has had its own cultural imprint on the landscape. Therefore, emphasis should be laid upon local issues such as the social, economic, and cultural dimensions of natural resource management. Now, how do we try to broaden this idea of natural resource management? We can't afford to devote only to a single perspective, but rather the social, economic, and the cultural dimensions all has to be brought in, so that there is a lasting, if not holistic approach of natural resource management will be realized. And also the psychological dimensions is important, because that can ensure a community participation which are based on the system of the local communities, which they can in a way relate to. Therefore, to ensure a sustainable livelihood or development of the mountain societies, one needs to incorporate all these aspects. Now, why is the conservation of forests in a way again important? It is increasingly felt that one possible method to conserve the forested areas is to see them as cultural landscape. So, by injecting the idea of this cultural landscape, there is a greater possibility of conserving the forest, as it has a complex socio-economic expression of not just the terrestrial ecosystem that have in a way co-evolve under the interactive influence of these biophysical factors as well as human societies at different levels, that is based on their cultural, social, and technological development. Traditionally, this concept of this cultural landscape is linked to a given natural landscape unit where humans function as a part of socio-ecological systems. Now, therefore, this idea of cultural landscape in a way can enhance or be really effective in terms of conserving the forest. The uniqueness of this heritage again lies in that the value system here is interpreted in a more holistic sense. The interfere by outsiders in this ecosystem has in a way led to the extensive amount of these deforestations. For example, the commercial extractions for short-term economic gains have large ramifications, and in that the gap between the rich and the poor is getting wider. So, which is itself becoming a critical social issue in many developing countries. Now, this process of deforestation has not only damaged the mountain environment, but also adversely impacted the environment in the plains down below due to rapid erosive losses and depositions of the soil and uncontrolled flooding of the plains. Now, these are some of the repercussions which are being witnessed as a result of deforestation. Now, looking at the as our focus is mostly on the traditional knowledge, one also needs to by highlighting the issue of the farming systems. In their study, Ramakrishnan et al. Show how these traditional farming systems are different from the modern agriculture, with a kind of crop diversity and the associated biodiversity. How? Because the modern agriculture system is maintained artificially through external inputs, and this eventually degrades the soil, whereas the traditional methods use organically managed multi-species croppings, unlike the monocropping in modern agriculture. Now, that is the kind of how the response of the soil or the nutrients of the soils are in a way being effectively managed in the multi-species cropping, which is pretty much prevalent among the indigenous peoples' farming system. Now, traditional systems are highly variable and designed to fit into a given socio-ecological system. For example, Zoom essentially is an agroforestry practice. Now, for instance, there is a idea which revolve around saying that in zooming practices the whole forests are being cut down, but an extensive study which is being made by Ramakrishnan and et al. Has pointed out that the zoom practices essentially is agroforestry practices. So, in a way, alongside agriculture, you also have this the conservation of forest which is being carried out. And as we had shown clearly that the modern agriculture system is maintained artificially through external inputs, that is by using different kinds of like chemicals, fertilizers, so on and so forth. It invites a lot of not just disrupting the soil nutrients in the long run, but also it affects the whole ecosystem. Now, therefore, with this short presentation, we are just trying to look at how the scientists, or in a way who have that formal knowledge is different from the traditional who is rich in traditional wisdom, and the manner in which they have tries to look at they perceive nature and their natural surroundings, and also the kind of engagement they have in these agriculture practices and farming is to be understood in a much more wider holistic manner if one has to have an in-depth meaning of a traditional knowledge. So, you can perhaps refer this book, or maybe have a book review on this. You can just browse and you will have a much more quicker understanding of this. Thank you.